Good morning. My name is Chris Adam with Youth Pleasure Employers, and I'm delighted to be joined by Russell from Crane Garden Buildings this morning. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for giving your time to speak and answer some questions with me this morning. And I guess my sort of start for today's question has to be, can you tell me a little bit about Crane Garden Buildings and what it is you do?
Great. Yes, of course I can. Yeah, Crane Garden Buildings, based in northwest Norfolk. We are essentially a manufacturer, retailer of high quality garden buildings. And we've been producing those garden buildings for over 50 years, and we've grown steadily over that period. We're now one of the UK's leading suppliers of higher quality garden buildings. So we're at the sort of premium end of the market. The quality of what we produce is second to none. As I said, we're family owned. It's a partnership, but owned by the family. Proud of our Norfolk heritage, and are continuing to grow. Our philosophy is that we will grow over the next 5 years by about 50%. That's our strategy, and we're always looking for people to come and join the journey and have some fun with us.
It's really fantastic to hear about, as I say, the goals you've got there and, the steps you're taking to achieving those. This may sound like such a simple question, but, just to clarify things and just for any young people maybe watching this video, so when we're talking about the garden buildings, what kind of different sort of buildings and products are there in your catalogue?
Well, we do everything from relatively small but high quality garden sheds, storage buildings, and those kind of shed type buildings can be used for anything from storing your lawnmower to much more fundamentally for hobbies and crafting and model railway and all sorts of things, garages, that sort of thing. So there's one sort of part of our business which is very practical buildings, and the other part of our business is more the summer house, studio, garden office type buildings for leisure and lifestyle. And we go from relatively small to very large buildings, all made from timber, all sustainably sourced. We have a badge called FSC, which is our mark of sustainability, and all made here by craftsmen in our workshop on site at Norfolk and Northwest Norfolk.
And touching on the craftsman you said there, so obviously I'm assuming you've got lots of different types of roles and jobs within the organisation to facilitate, the growth, as you say, you aim to achieve, and the different sides of the business that you touched on there. So if you just had to give me a sort of a brief structure of some of the different roles and departments and things within the business, what would they look like?
Well, let me take one step back and talk a little bit about the business and how we do it. As I mentioned, we're not only manufacturers, so manufacturing is a big part of what we do, but we also retail our own buildings. So around the UK, we have 12 retail sites, and they have on those retail sites, there are a range of our products there for the customer to see, and we have a sales team based both here in Norfolk, but also across the UK who sell the products. So manufacturing, retailing. The other part of our business is we also install all of the products ourselves. So as part of the price that the customer pays, we will install the buildings because they're quite complex, complicated, high quality buildings, and so getting them put up is quite important. So we do that as well. So we have a range of roles in the factory, and that the types of roles there are from manufacturing operatives through to slightly more skilled joinery work and roles, facilities, those kind of things. We have sort of 40-50 people in those type of roles. Our installations team, we have about 22-23 people in that team, and they travel the country. So they go from here usually on a Monday morning with a van and a trailer, and off they go into the countryside, and they often stay away. In fact, most of the time they'll stay away for most of the week, returning Thursday, Friday, with empty loads basically. So they go off all over the place from Aberdeen down to Cornwall. So we sell nationally. Usually they go off in pairs, and that's a skilled role. They have to assemble on site, often have to adapt things depending on what what's happening in the site. So we have those kind of roles. We also have a thriving head office function here with the typical type of disciplines that you would expect. We have finance, we have marketing, we have business development, which we have CAD enabled design. So we do design work here as well, and we have HR. We have those kind of roles. We also have our own training academy because we're very committed to all our staff having access to training for both their work, but also their themselves as well. So one of our values is about our good citizenship value is about our employees thriving beyond the confines of work, so that we can help them with things like finance and computer skills and language skills and English and those kind of things as well. So we're very keen on developing our staff as they work through. So they're the kind of roles that we have: factory based, road on in terms of installations, sales and marketing, and office-based roles.
And it's really interesting to hear, as you said summarised there, about the diverse array of roles and the opportunities within each one and the skills required. If we look at the workforce broadly, you've touched on the end there how the continuous development and upskilling and providing opportunities to staff is a big part of the organisation, something you value. So if there was a young person coming into the organisation, it becomes clear that you'd be looking for someone who, as I say, is sort of wanting to take opportunities, wanting to learn and develop. Alongside that, if someone was going to come into the organisation, what kind of personality traits would serve them well within Crane Garden Buildings?
That's a very good question, because we are very committed to the values of the organisation. And when an organisation, and I'll explain what they are, but when an organisation has values, it's important that they match, that they mix, and then we'll be happy together. And if our values don't align, if the things that we do and where are important to us aren't important to people who want to work for us, then it's probably not going to work. The values that we have are the 4 key values. The first one is passion. And that is about caring about what you do. As I mentioned, our products are the highest quality, and therefore what we really look for is people who are committed to doing a good job. They care about the work we do. Doesn't matter, you can make a mistake, that's not a problem, but actually not caring about that mistake, not caring about what you do, well, that is a bit of a problem from my perspective. So you've got to, the first one is passion. Second one is respect. So we have to respect each other, our customers, our suppliers, and our role in society. So respect is very important. Work is tough. You work there all day, every day. So respecting each other is key to a happy working environment. The third area is sustainability. So sustainability means 2 things to us. One, about the long-term future of the business. So the decisions we make in this business are about its long-term future, not short-term profit. So we're continually reinvesting. We're opening new show sites at the moment. We've opened one this year in Huntingdon, near between Cambridge and Bedford. We've got one opening in London within the M25. We've got one opening hopefully in the southwest, sort of early next year. So we're continually investing in that. We're putting a new paint line into our factory. That sort of thing as well. So that sustainability, the long-term health of the business, but also sustainability in terms of our requirement to put something back into society, that we do things in as far as we can in a green manner. So for just a couple of examples, we installed solar panels on the factory so that we can regenerate electricity and use that to power all of our wood waste. We have a burning system that heats the factory and heats the paint lines and those kind of things. So we are committed to that kind of approach in life as well. So that's the third one. And the final one is called good citizenship, and that's about us caring about our employees, but also our community at large. So we are committed to spending 1% of our turnover on good causes, and we have a team of staff, and they're drawn from all parts of the business, who help us to work out how to spend that money. So we spend that on, we've given to Man Shed Group in Swaffham, we've given to hospital in Hertfordshire, we've given to, we support people who do, our own staff who do sponsored events, we'll sort of funds match them, all sorts of things that we're doing in our good citizenship team as well. So those 4 values, passion, respect, sustainability, and good citizenship are core. And if that chimes with people, then they're probably going to enjoy working here.
Thanks, Russ. It's really interesting because not that many organisations, or as many as we probably would like, have those clearly outlined values like you've said there, which take into account, as to say, sort of social value and impact. And actually, as you sort of touched on there, it's actually a really good identifying factor for young people or any person who wants to go into organisation to actually see, okay, how do they want to conduct themselves? What do they believe in? What are they looking to achieve? And actually, as you say, that can be a really good highlighting factor as to whether someone would think they'd actually fit in well within an organisation. And it sort of leads me quite well onto my next question, which is, say, we touched there on sort of, as to say, the values and the personality traits. If someone matches up with those and they actually come into the organisation, what kind of soft skills would serve them well? So sort of I'm talking about, like, the ability to be able to communicate, or the ability to, to be able to get on well with others, or, be confident in what they're doing. What kind of soft, impactful skills like that would really serve them well in your organisation?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're not looking for loads of academic qualifications and all of that sort of thing. The softer skills, I think, that matter, and I'd already talked about passion and caring about what you do. Surprisingly to me, not everybody always does. I don't mean here, but sort of generally. So that caring kind of nature, caring about what you do, and also caring about other people. And I suppose I could describe that really as empathy. That understanding other people, whether it be our customers, whether it be our colleagues, whether it be our suppliers, understanding their problems, their needs, their challenges, and also understanding the challenges of the organisation. It's a two-way street. We have to understand the challenges of our staff and support them when things are rough and tough as well. But I think empathy is a very important soft skill for people to have, understanding the needs of others and how I can help everybody around me to do a better job and also be good people while we do it.
I think you've made a really good point there with, the need for empathy, especially at this moment in time, as I say, sort of looking at your organisation, your sector, people following the pandemic and following the rise in costs and things, people are putting more focus than ever onto their investments, especially, the lockdown taught us the value of people's gardens and people's spaces. And, as I say, if people are making investments, now more than ever, they are putting extra thought into them, probably requiring, as you say, the extra degree of empathy and support as well. So, as I say, it's actually, would you say that that's a trait that maybe people don't expect within this organisation when they come in, which, as you've actually said, it is a big part of the roles?
Yeah, I mean, that empathy requirement it's there for every role we have. It varies in how important it is, depending. Clearly, as you just identified, empathizing with customers, understanding their needs is massively important in sales and marketing. But it's important everywhere, and it's a soft skill that I don't think is taught. It's a little bit of a learned skill. It's a little bit of a type of personality that you are.
And it leads me quite well actually onto my final question, really, because you've spoken a little bit about sort of, as I say, the skills that are useful in the organisation and the things that, as I say, that people have learned when they come to the organisation, some of the things that you've learned. And I've asked this to all the employees I've spoken to, Russell, which is, if you could go back and speak to, say, a 16, 17-year-old Russell, and you're about to go out and start your career journey again. If you take into account sort of maybe mistakes you've made and learned from successes you've had, if you could go back and provide one piece of career advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Give it a try. Don't worry too much. I think when I was younger, and I think When you're let's imagine 17 to 25, that sort of age group, a year seems like a huge amount of time. I'm 58 now, and a year just passes by in no time at all. So you have got time. You can give things a try. You can make mistakes. It's okay to make a mistake. So in your career, you can make a choice. You can make a mistake. You've got time to put that right. Okay, this role, this job, this company, it's not quite for me. That's okay. So I think I used to worry too much about all of that, and it's easy for me to say now. But I think learn from your mistakes as well is a good one. I'm certainly a person who's learned, who's I hope learned. I made more mistakes than I have done good things. So therefore, I've learned from those, and with that comes a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of knowledge that you can apply next time you're faced with the same set of circumstances. And the final one is don't panic. It feels big, it feels important, it feels massive. The world still spins on its axis tomorrow, and we can usually rescue most situations. So that there would be my 3 pieces of advice.